Hello and welcome to this video where we'll continue on the previous video. In the previous video we have Dockerized the data pipeline and orchestrating this with Dagster, that we have Dockerized it into a Dagster image, and this image we sent up to Azure Container Registry. The image is stored in Container Registry, and then we create an Azure Container Instance which connects to this Azure Container Registry, this image, that we spin up a container. And this container, the idea is that it is scheduled. It will automatically once per day orchestrate DLT, DBT into DuckDB, and the DuckDB is stored in a file share in Azure as well. Okay, and also in file share we had profiles.yaml and .dbt, that dbt could work in the deployed version. And the idea with this video is that we'll continue on the previous one. We have created our dashboard before, but now it's time to Dockerize our dashboard as well, and then send it up into Container Registry, and then we connect a Azure Web App to this Container Registry, and then we have a deployed web application as well. And the web application that is deployed means there's a URL that we can go into, and we're able to see our dashboard. It's connected to the file share, of course, once per day. When the data is updated, even the dashboard will also be updated. That is really cool. Okay, starting in Azure, we have our Dagster container, and this Dagster container is connected to it as spin up this container from the image in Azure Container Registry. Here we can go into this IP address. I'll copy this one, and I will go into here in the browser :3000, and you can see we're inside of Dagster. And you can see here in assets, and here they have been materialized before. You can see the lineage here, the DBT for the rest of them. First we move the data from the extract and load the data from the API into the staging layer of DuckDB, and then here they do a different transformation in the warehouse layer or the refine layer. And then finally we have the marts layer, which is the one that is connected to the Streamlit application. Okay? Yes, now I will leave this Dagster and we'll go back to Visual Studio Code. This is what we had last time. We have the Dockerfile data warehouse, and we have the Dockerfile dashboard. The Dockerfile dashboard, let's just remove this environment variable because we don't need that anymore, since this is the one that will be sent in. This is all that we need. Let's see, 8501, yes, exactly. And here you install a few things that is needed. Okay, save this one, and let's go into our Docker Compose YAML here. For the Docker Compose YAML, we should add a service here now. We add the service dashboard, build context dot dockerfile dot dashboard. This is the Docker file that we use. And then ports, let's do ports mapping 8501 to 8501, okay? And then we have the image here. The image here, we need to use the same login server. I'll copy this one. This is the login server that we had last time. You can find it, if you don't remember it, you can find it in Azure Container Registry, your login server, and then / what do we want the image to be called. I have a dashboard :latest. That is it. I save this one. And now let me see if there is anything else that we need. Yeah, exactly. There is, yeah, here. We need to go into our, let's see, dashboard here. And we have this connect data warehouse. Now the DB path It needs to be changed. We change it to the file share path. Let me remove. Actually, we can keep this one. We can do like this. We can call file share path like this, equals to path. Let me import path from pathlib, import path /mount/data/job_adds.duckdb. Okay, this is the path that we will need in Azure, and the file share we will have job_adds.duck. I will add in here. Actually, I can call it db path. It's simpler because I used db path before, like this. Okay. By changing this one, now we have a connection to, or we do need to do this mount inside of web app later on. But what you should know is that when this mount is up, we can connect to this job_adds.duckdb and we can show our dashboard. That is the idea. Now, what we should do is open up a terminal. And we should do Docker Compose build our dashboard server, that we don't build the data pipeline. One important thing that I forgot is that here in the Docker Compose, since I'm in an M3 Mac, an ARM-based Mac, if you have M1, M2, M3, M-chip, etc., then you need to add this one, platform:/Linux AMD 64. Because otherwise we will have a platform of ARM64 and the one in Azure is in AMD 64. It won't work for the web app. We need to add this platform here, platform Linux AMD 64. In order to save time in this video, I have actually run the commands, and the commands that you need to run is docker compose build dashboard. Okay. This will build your dashboard and build the image of the dashboard. And then afterwards, when you have it, you basically do like this. Paste this in. No. Docker push this login server and then /dashboard:/latest. Given that you have already signed in to your Azure Container Registry, which we did in the last video. After you've done that, you have pushed it up, and in your Container Registry, you should have two different images now. We go into here. This is the Dagster container, home, my resource groups, and resource group analytics dev. And I have here is my container registry, and inside here we have repositories, and you can see there's a dashboard and there's a HR-pipeline. Now I have two images stored in my registry. What we should do now is to go into home, create a resource, and I will need a web app. Create a web app. To create a web app, let's do like this. We choose RGHR Analytics Dev, this resource group, and the web app name, HR Analytics, like this. And then let's choose container, Linux, and the region. Let me choose here, Sweden Central. And the app HR is not available in Sweden Central because someone else has taken it, 1101. I hope it's okay. Yes. And here, let me see. Yeah, this one is okay. Actually, yeah, this one should be fine as well. You can choose one that is stronger if you want. It doesn't matter right now. The thing is, just see if it will work or not. And then afterwards, what you should do is that in order to save credits, you should delete the whole resource group when you're finished with this exercise. In order to save your credits. Let's move on to next and go into container here. We will remove this sidecar support. This one will disappear. And we'll choose Azure Container Registry. I'll choose this registry that I have, and I'll choose admin credentials, select the image, dashboard, latest, startup command, we don't need anything there. Then we do review and create. This will create the web app, basically. Now it goes through the validation and then creates. It's validating now, but it's deploying, and hopefully this will work. It's deploying. Close this down and wait until it's finished. Yes, and when this is done, you go into the web app. Here is the resource. You just click go to resource and you come into here, HR Analytics. And now we go into settings, and we need to do some configurations in order to add our mount to our file share. Here you go into path mappings. And inside of path mappings, you can do new Azure storage mount. Click on this one, and we just call it file share. And basic, yes, storage account. Let's see, we have this STHR Analytics 1101. I'll choose that one. And here we have Azure files, SMB, yes. And then the storage container. Choose the data, because this was the storage container that we have created, and then the mount path /mnt/data, and just click OK. This means that now our Streamlit application should be able to connect to this, because we had this connect data warehouse, right? And this connect data warehouse, we connect to this. Now, what is left is just going into the app settings in the environment variables. Let's see, will be the output. You need to save it also, save. Now you have saved the configurations, and go into environment variables. And we need to add a new one. I'll call it websites port. And we will have here value 8501 and apply this one. Okay. Now we should not go into the overview. Save this one as well. Apply, confirm. Yes, now it has updated. We have this website port. Firstly, I wanted to show you this here. This is an error that I got when I prepared this. I clicked on the link, and this is the error I got. And the thing was that it was just a typo. You can see here it says cannot open database/mount data/jobads.duckdb, and you can see DUCDKB. K and D needs to be changed. And if you followed along with the video and you also made the same mistake, then you know what to change. And afterwards, when you have changed it, make sure that you do Docker Compose build, and then you push this new image to your Azure Container Registry. And after you have done that, it's important that in your web app, click restart. You restart the one, and usually it takes around, like, since I chosen this very cheap plan, then it takes like a few minutes before it's working. But afterwards, when it has been loaded, you can click on this link and you can see your fantastic Streamlit application here. That is quite cool. And you can see the data here. That is really cool. This is deployed, and you can use it and share it to your friends and family. Okay, wasn't this super cool? We managed to have our dashboard application Dockerized and then sent to push to ACR, Azure Container Registry, and then we created a web app in Azure, so Azure Web App, and connected it to this container in ACR. And then we also made sure that we had the file share, the mount, and then it was able to read the database, that we could see our Streamlit application live deployed. That is super cool, and this concludes like the whole pipeline is deployed together with the dashboard. And since the pipeline is in Container Instance, it will run once per day, and then we will have an updated dashboard for our end user to enjoy. The next steps that you might think about when you're doing this kind of pipeline is that now we have a proof of concept that works. However, we need to make sure that the price is good enough. We need to think about, is there any better option? Should we run the container instance
all the time? Or is it possible to schedule it somehow that, for example, half an hour before it starts or like 10 minutes before it starts, we will start it, that you don't need to have it on all the time, that it doesn't need to take much cost, unnecessarily costs? Is that a possibility? That is a question to explore. Yes, but I hope that you learned a lot in this video, and thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.